Hey guys, back again. Now, today I'm going to pull apart a Hoover vacuum cleaner, and it is a Hoover Challenger Model 3001. So let's work out what's in one of these things. Okay, there's a little screw up there, and I'm thinking that the other screws, where are they going to be? I've got a feeling they'll be underneath these wheels. But I'll give you a bit of an update in a sec. Okay, there was no screws under there, but there were certainly family of earwigs that are definitely not happy with me. Okay, looks like there was no screws hidden underneath the... I'm going to have earwigs in my workshop for about a week. Alright, so I am thinking there's no screw hidden underneath the tag. That's up on my trophy wall. Alright, now I'm gonna get back to my trophy wall, I think. Okay, so I've got a feeling that it's literally going to be just I have to unclip it bit by bit. Alright, we'll see how we go. And yeah, sorry about all the earwigs, folks, but just a visual for you. I gotta live with them now. Okay, so I figured out the secret is the mystery of getting these out. They're actually held in by, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a... Okay, I just leave it with a flat head. There's actually a little pins moulded into the plastic, and then the whole lot appears to come off. Alright, this one's been left outside for a little while, so hence the family of earwigs. Alright, I'll see how we go with the next bit. Okay, so once that cover comes up, and yeah, pretty much just was the those two pins where located in there. Yeah, then the you can actually see the you can see all the Phillips head screws, just standard Phillips head, no anti-theft ones or tamper-proof ones. Yeah, so all right, we'll see what happens when I get that off, and I think it's going to be a fairly basic design, quite a bit of plastic. Yeah, quite a bit of plastic bits and pieces. That's what I love about these vacuum cleaners, so much plastic. Thank God it's recycling night tonight. Alright, see you in a sec, guys. Yep, once you get all the cover off, it's yeah, pretty simple, and there's a lot of the plastic clips together, so there's not a lot of screws. There was mainly those 6 Phillips head screws. There was one more just here that holds the board on, and the board's very, very basic. I mean, that's one of the cheapest and nastiest heat sinks I think I've ever seen. All right, now feels like there's one more screw hidden among there, so that's 2, and then that's a very basic little circuit board. All right, and then hopefully I should be able to lift the whole top off and get to the motor. Okay, so now the motor, now this one's actually encased in black plastic, which is something I don't always see. Alright, so if I just get the, I guess that's sound insulation. I am not 100% sure about that. Okay, there we got a motor. Looks like a pretty standard vacuum cleaner motor. I'll take that cover off in a minute and show you. And then we've got, oh yes, we've still got the power cord on this one. And yeah, when you take these apart, the metal spring, you got to be a bit careful with it, because it's under tension, obviously, to pull the power lead back in, and it comes apart like, I don't know if anyone's ever pulled apart a tape measure. Yeah, the retractable, self-retracting tape measure. Yeah, it's under quite a bit of load, and when they come out, they can whip around a little bit. All right, I'll get that out and I'll show you in a sec. Okay, now that I've got him out, I had to cut the cord off to extract him, but this came out in one unit, which is good. It means I can very carefully take the safety bracket off that, or just the holding bracket, retaining bracket, and you can see where this spring is. Well, it's probably not under so much load at the moment, because the power cord's in the retracted position, plus it's been sitting for a while, so I think it might have lost some of its tension. But yeah, it's certainly worth having glasses on and having a bit of a mindfulness about taking that one out. All right, yeah, okay, next bit. Okay, once you get that little spring trap out of the way, what you'll find is there's contacts in here that enable the power to actually travel while the cord's retracting. So that's one part of the contact, and the other parts are just in there, easy enough to get out of. So my experience is they're either copper or brass. These ones appear to be brass in nature. So yeah, they'll just go into the small brass scrap, and then I'll take the rest of that out. Once you pulled apart a few of these vacuums, they get pretty standardised, so you get a bit of an idea of how they all work. Now that's how their cord is actually kept from pulling all the way out, and so it doesn't break contact or damage the cord when you actually when you finally get your kids to help you to pull the cord out for you, because they ultimately just pull until it physically stops. All right, yeah, a few bits and pieces, and I've still got the motor to go. Okay, yeah, once the motor's out, it looks like a pretty standard design. However, I'm a little bit impressed with this. It's plastic cover. It's got a little bit more insulating for the noise, and anti-vibration mounts, rubber covers for the mounts. So yeah, looks like a half decent one. All right, there's a slight chance there might be copper in there. All right, we'll see how we go. Okay, so when you're left with the basic standard motor out of a vacuum, and this is pretty standard, I find that sometimes the easiest way is to get the top off, just like that. Okay, that one worked. Now, that nut is not going to come off easily. So in my situation, this here, this little fan here is actually aluminium. So in order to get access to that, I'm actually going to pull that fan apart. And once that fan comes apart, I'll be able to get a socket or a spanner right onto that, and then we'll see how we go. Okay, that fan comes apart pretty easily, like most of them do, and then it's just a matter of just ripping these out bit by bit to get access to there. Okay, once you remove the fan, and of course this nut, this one was quite hard for me because of the condition of it. It wasn't jammed on, it wasn't like too tight, but what you do is you just somehow grab hold of the motor. There, I just stick a flat bladed screwdriver in there until it catches. Then there was two T20s. They weren't actually anti-tamper proof. They were those two locations, and then once that's off, there's just more T20s. Okay, there we go, and then we'll get into the motor. Okay, even though I've undone the 4 screws, this, I beg your pardon. Okay, stand back up. Okay, so this is actually the bearing at this end of the rotor is actually in there quite firmly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the guts of the motor out. So it's basically like a standard motor transformer type thing. There's wiring of the rotor and the wiring of the stator. Now in this case, it's actually like a square, similar to a transformer. And the best way to do this is where it's actually flat is you just tap on the outside here, and then once you've actually flattened it like you're basically making a cube, it then pushes the actual metal casing out at where the corners are, and it should, in my experience anyway, it should just pop straight out. We'll see how that works. Okay, so I had to remove the plastic on the casing just to make sure that it was definitely a square, and yep, I've actually squared that off, and it is nice and loose in there, and it should be falling out, except just like the bearing is stuck in that strut across there, this bearing is stuck in the rear of the casing. So I'm going to have to coax him out. I'm going to have to go get a drift or a punch and just give him a bit of a tap. All right, those who've watched my channel a bit know that I actually swap all my steel almost all of my steel to polyprofit. Some of it I hang on to for a little while, like this particular one came out of quite a large motor, because they come in handy, because once I bend that bracket up out of the way, I can now place him right there, and that should be a nice simple job of just punching him out. Fingers crossed. Okay, I thought that was going to be quite difficult, but when you got the right equipment and you got the right setup, yeah, it just took one tap and she was out. Okay, that was quite that was quite satisfying. And of course, yes, because I squared that off, or cubed it off, whichever way you want to call it. Yeah, she comes straight out. And to my absolute sheer delight, that is copper. That is a copper winding in there, because it's an older one, and Hoover's actually a bit of a known brand in Australia. Yeah, so that turned out to be a copper winding, so I'm pretty happy with that. All right, now just to finish off, the thing about vacuums is they generate a lot of plastic for your scrap pile, a lot of plastic. So I like to do them, when recycling's due, and fill the recycling bin up, do the right thing by the environment. I personally prefer someone who would process them either for 3D printing or turning into fuel, liquid fuel. You can actually do that by pyrolysis, but that's not for this channel, or if it is, it's going to be later on once I've actually done it. Now there's three steel mounts in there, little pegs for the wheels. They are molded in, so I'm going to have to actually use a bit of force to pull them out. That's something that would be a real pain. Like one of these, a vacuum like this that works and works quite well, that's once one of those legs breaks out, yeah, that one's going to be a real pain to put back in a solid way. All right, guys, I hope that was enjoyable for you. But yeah, as I said, lots. I filled one, but that was empty when I started. That is all from this vacuum cleaner. That's a lot of plastic. Now, with the modern ones, you get all that trouble, and you'll find that that'll be aluminium, and then the actual rotor, yep, here we go. I can't see what they are. I'd say they're 608 bearings, but they are C's, so they're not going to be, yep, 608. Yep, I can see it right there. All right, so, yep, okay, 608Zs. All right, I'd say the other one's the same. That'll be copper in there, but that's a pain to get out because it's all resined or glued in. So I'm thinking about just cashing all those in as get what they call motor quality. You get, I don't know, something like 50 cents a kilo or something for it. Okay, what was the other thing? Yeah, lots and lots of plastic. So by the time you actually get through it, a modern vacuum cleaner, you'll find, especially if it's like a cheap one, you will find that will be aluminium. And then the only real wealth in those modern vacuum cleaners tends to be the cord. And as you can see, this has been sitting around for quite a while. So yeah, the copper and the cord, which is why you see them with their tails cut off or docked. The urban roadkill on the side of the road with the tails being docked. Okay, so that's the real wealth, which is why people just grab that and go, and they don't want to deal with all that plastic. There's a little tiny bit of domestic aluminium, little tiny bit of brass, but nothing to get excited about. The other reason they would have value is for parts, because if you've got, if you decide that if you want to, not so much repair them as a business, but if you just wanted to repair your own, you could go grab the similar model and do so. As long as the motor wasn't burnt out. Well, then again, I suppose you could always just change the motor over or make one out of two. But yeah, they are a little bit repairable, but there's a few places where they're not. Obviously, being clipped together plastic, once the clips, the pegs, wherever they join together, once that breaks, it's going to be problematic. I mean, who really wants to own a vacuum cleaner that's duct taped together? I mean, nothing wrong with it, still works, but some people get a bit vain about they get a bit house proud. All right, guys, hope that was helpful, or I don't know, entertaining, whatever. Chuck us a comment and let us know what else you want me to pull apart next.